Good morning, class. So today we will be talking about the creation of arts and crafts of Luzon, Highlands, and Lowlands sculpture. Philippine sculptures are considered homemade because they are made with materials found within the country. They are unique because of the different techniques and processes used by the native sculptors, and they define the natives' beliefs and lifestyles. The native's choice of materials depends on its availability and local use. Every handicraft created mirrors the natives' culture and traditions, and with the current goals of preservation was given the spotlight along with the other local art products. It requires more than the naked eye to witness the beauty of these artworks. Through careful observation, you will understand its impact on their livelihoods and culture. Together, we shall discover and appreciate the sculptures and other artworks of Luzon. This will be a fun and exciting tour. Let our adventure begin. For our objectives, you have to determine the different materials and techniques used in sculpture in the highlands and lowlands of Luzon. Then make a sculpture using local materials and techniques. And last is to appreciate sculpture works through determining the proper use of elements and principle of arts. Using your answer sheets, complete the following statements by supplying the right word or words from the options on the left side. Number 1. The art of making 2 or 3-dimensional representative or abstract forms, especially by carving stone or wood or by casting metal or plaster, is called blank. Number 2. Blank sculpting processes involve adding materials to build up the sculpture. Number 3. Blank processes rely on the removal of the materials to rebuild the sculpture. Number 4. Blank is a carved wooden human figure with simplified forms and used in rituals that are performed to call the ancestors to protect their rice field from the pestilence and to ask for an abundant harvest. Number 5. Blank are big paper mache of human figures that represent farmers and fishermen. Number 6. Paetic carvers usually produce wooden blank and wooden panels with decorative floral patterns and florid geometric designs. Number 7. Gigantes are the representation of blank. Number 8. During a ritual called tunod, which means blank, bull all dip in the blood of pigs. Number 9. The big paper mache is considered as blank sculpture. And last, the local term for carving is blank. Okay, so just keep your answer sheets and we will find the answers later in our lesson. This next activity is called Amazing Guess Race. This activity will measure your speed and practical knowledge as you are expected to think and write as fast as you can. From the pictures, think of where the sculptures are made from and try to list down on your answer sheet all the materials used to finish the product. Upon listing down, make sure that you have indicated the main tools to be able to come up with the product shown. So let's begin. You have 10 seconds to answer each number. The following are the answers on our activity. So there are wood, plywood, hammer, nails, glue, chisel, saw, diamond, ceramics, diamond cutter or diamond cutting machine, cement, molding, and metals. The previous activities serve as a guide for you to determine the materials mostly used in doing arts and crafts. This also shows the main tools specifically to craft a particular product. The next part of our lesson will give you a closer look on how these materials determined and how the beliefs, cultures, and traditions become contributing factors in crafting a particular sculpture. Sculpture is the art of making two or three-dimensional representative or abstract forms, especially by carving stone or wood or by casting metal or plaster. There's a wide variety of medium that can be used in sculpture, both additive and subtractive process. Some of these are polymer clay, earth clay, Play-Doh, soap, plaster of Paris, wax, balsa wood, paper mache, and the like. When we say additive sculpting, it involves adding materials to build up the sculpture. From the word additive, we add. Dinadagdagan natin or pinagsasama-sama ang mga materials to create a figure or sculpture. Of course, with the use of medium such as glue, nails, or even by welding. While the subtractive sculpting rely on the removal of the material to rebuild the sculpture. When we say subtractive process, binabawasan natin ang main material to create a sculpture. For example, from a big piece of wood, we use chisel to carve the details and create a new figure. Bulul is one example of a subtractive sculpture. This sculpture is practiced by the natives of Cordillera. Ifugao is a wooden sculpture called bulul that represents the rice granary spirits. It is used in rituals that are performed to call the ancestors to protect their rice fields from pestilence and to ask for an abundant harvest. It is a carved wooden human figure with simplified forms and usually made of nara, which signifies wealth, happiness, and well-being to the Ifugao. During a ritual called tunod, which means planting seedlings in the soil, bulul dip in the blood of pigs. So these are another example of subtractive sculptures. Paete, Laguna is considered as the wood carving capital of the Philippines. Ukit is the local term for carving. Paete carvers usually produce wooden religious images and wooden panels with decorative floral patterns and florid geometric designs, such as in the example. This is a good example of an additive sculpture, the Gigantes. Gigantes of Angono in Rizal Province are big paper mache of human figures that represent farmers and fishermen. According to stories, the original Gigantes were representations of hacienderos during the Spanish colonial period. This big paper mache is considered as assemblage and additive sculpture. Let's proceed to our next activity. In this activity, you will be able to enhance your illustration skills and creative imagination in designing sculptures. This is called my sculpture blueprint. Make a plan of the sculpture you want to make or create. Then decide for its height and width as well as the depth. Choose what materials you will use and draw your design using the template. You may download our template on the link below. This is what the template looks like. Don't forget to write your name, your grade, and section. After creating your sculpture blueprint, answer this at the back of your paper. Based on your design, give at least 3 elements of art used and explain its importance. These are some examples of elements of art from our previous lessons. Now it is time for your assessment. Activity 1. Analyze the pictures. Write S if the process used in the sculpture is subtractive and write A if it is additive. You have 10 seconds to answer each number, so let's start now. Okay, well done. You may find the answers on the last part of your modules, so check if you got it all correct. Wood panel is one of the main subjects of the carvers in Paete, Laguna because of its high quality type of woods and its planishing texture. The sculpture is known for its appealing florid geometric designs and decorative floral patterns. To achieve mastery of our lesson, you have to use your creativity, imagination, and appreciation by creating your own soap panel with your favorite floral design through incorporating the design and forms of the highland and lowland object in your creation. This activity will use a soap, which is the main material because of its availability. You may also use clay as the material to make it more attractive and to add texture to the sculpture. These are the materials that you will use to make your soap floral panel project. First is the soap, which is our main material, such as perla, then the nail pusher, sandpaper, paper cutter, pencil and paper, and clay. The first thing to do is to sketch your sculpture on the piece of paper that is the same size as your soap. Then put your pattern above the soap and trace the design using the pencil. Now you have to create a base by using the nail pusher and trace the design. Now start carving using the nail pusher and move from large forms to smaller ones. By the way, the process we are using now is subtractive sculpting. After carving the details, you may use sandpaper to polish the design, and you may also use the clay for additive purposes. And last is to add in textures and other elements of art to finish your soap floral panel. Please watch this video to be more inspired in creating our project. And we are done. I hope you learned a lot from our lesson today. Always remember to enjoy while learning. Keep safe.